This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV.
Welcome to What the Fork Wednesday, the stories that make you stop, blink twice, and ask yourself how this is real life. Logic has left the building. Let's begin.
Boss be rising, BBTV's igniting, turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling when she hits go live, everybody feels it.
Well, hello, hello. This is the day we step into the weirdest, the wildest, and the craziest situations and refuse to look away. Real people, real choices, real consequences. No sugarcoating, no tidy bows, just honest reactions to messy human behavior. So today's story is so chaotic that you can't process it with logic alone. You have to sit in it, feel it. Ask yourself what you would actually do if this landed in your own life. So we don't judge first here. We think, we pause, and then we walk it through it together. So let's just get into this today, right? So this is What the Fork Wednesday on BBTV, where we walk straight into the weirdest, wildest corners, right? And this is all real life. And it actually stays there long enough to understand that we're looking at it. Y'all, this isn't shock for shock's sake, okay? And it isn't internet theater. It's about seeing, I guess, how ordinary people end up in situations that feel completely and totally unhinged from the outside and painfully complicated from the in. So on this day, we suspend quick judgment, okay? We slow our breathing, and we give ourselves permission to sit in discomfort instead of running from it, okay? The stories we read here are messy, imperfect, and often, they're deeply human, which means they rarely fit into clean categories of right or wrong. So today's AIT story, or AITA story, yes, we're sticking with that because we love it, is exactly that kind of situation. It's loud and chaotic and totally emotionally charged on the surface, but layered with family dynamics and boundaries and loyalty and, consequences underneath. As people settle in, remember that our goal isn't to roast anyone or perform outrage. It's to think clearly, okay? Ask hard questions. Nothing wrong with that. And notice how easily any of us could find ourselves in something just as strange. You might feel tempted to pick a side immediately, but I want you to resist that instinct and listen all the way through, please, because the details matter. Every choice in this story has a backstory. Every reaction has a trigger, and every outcome has cost. So this is why WTF, What the Fork Wednesday exists. Not to laugh at people, but to understand how real lives get twisted in ways none of us planned for. So if you're here live, you're choosing conversation over chaos. It's true. And that's exactly the energy that this show runs on. So grab your coffee, tea, whichever, settle into your seat and get ready. Because today we're stepping into a situation that will make you wince, gasp, and probably talk back to your screen. Let's move through it together, slowly, honestly, and with enough space for truth to breathe. All right? So we're going to get into this one. We're going to try. Hold up. Didn't work out how I'd hoped, but that's okay because we can fix that too. Y'all, I'm still learning. Remember, we're all newbies here. Okay, so we're going to start with this story. I only have one story because let me tell you, one's enough. All right? So here's the title to this one. Am I the a-hole for kicking my wife out after she punched my mom in the face. Okay, we already know this is going to be fun, right? Y'all, drama is fun when it's not yours. That's the only time, okay? All right, let's get into it. So, am I the a-hole for kicking my wife out after she punched my mom in the face? Let's find out. So, my situation went from bad to worse in a matter of a week or so, and I don't know where else to turn. I need to know if I was wrong, possibly a validation thing, because life is freaking dumb right now. My wife and I have been together for 8 years, and she just gave birth to our first and last baby 2 months ago. Up until my wife got pregnant, my mom loved her. I'm not sure what the fork is going on with my mom or why the switch happened. But after my wife got pregnant, my mom started being very clingy to me and started avoiding my wife at all costs. Told everyone she wasn't excited about the pregnancy, etc. Okay. Wow. Lady, you got issues. So I threatened to go no contact with her when my wife was about 7 months along. And after that, she snapped out of it for the most part and stopped being so ignorant. Ooh. Hello, Uriel. I think I said that maybe. I don't know. If I didn't, I apologize. But hello. Welcome in. So, ignorant. Okay. I'm going to move on because that's going to piss me right the hell off. The comments 100% stopped at least, though she still was clinging to me. Honey. So we're already in chaotic territory on line 1, correct? I think I'm saying that right. Okay, so the writer says that his life went from bad to worse in a week and admits he might just be looking for validation because everything feels upside down. So he's been with his wife 8 years. They just had their first baby 2 months ago. And the drama isn't even about the baby. It's about his mom. Okay, before the pregnancy, his mom loved his wife before the pregnancy, okay? Then the moment his wife got pregnant, the mom flipped a switch. Suddenly clingy to her son, cold to the wife, openly excited or unexcited about the baby. He even had to threaten no contact when his wife was 7 months along just to make the comments stop. Guys, what is this? Okay, so the word stopped, but the emotional weirdness with his mom didn't, as far as I'm concerned. I can't talk today, y'all, so just, get over me. But yeah, wow. We're going to start this one out with this first. So, possessive behavior, boundary crossing, and brewing conflict. That's definitely a stinger, right? Now, let's go to the next part before I go off. It's too early to go off, right? It's too early to go off. Okay. So now a week ago, my mom, my sister's husband, and my sister's daughter, 12 years old, came over for dinner. I prepared the meal. Okay. Before my wife could eat anything, our daughter got fussy. So my wife excused herself to go feed the baby. Perfectly normal. Okay. And get her down to sleep. I thought I prepared enough. I'm assuming he's talking about food, but apparently not, because my niece was still starving. She's 5'5" and 190 pounds. I haven't seen her in a year, and she was not that size then, so I didn't exactly portion in an extra 3 helpings for a child, so it's on me. First off, children come first. It doesn't matter who they are. Okay? Or who they belong to. Kids come first. And I'm sorry, a pregnant woman should know that. Okay. I'm going to let that one go for a minute. Okay. So I apologized and told her that I hadn't made any more and offered her crackers as I was putting my wife's portion in the fridge. After that, I just went outside with my sister's husband to smoke a cigarette and shoot the breeze. Didn't think anything of it, but then I hear yelling from inside. When I walk in, my wife and my mom were screaming at each other. Let's keep in mind the wife is pregnant and we got emotional issues going on here, okay? Apparently, my mom, who saw me put my wife's food away, gave my niece my wife's portion of food. Ouch. Mom needs to go somewhere. Hi, Sage. Hey, man, I just finally got that message, and I'm going to send you an email here later, okay? I promise. Good to see you, my friend. I missed you. Okay, so this is a crazy story, but we're still keeping it up. As I was walking inside, I heard my mom say, I read that before I spoke it. This is going to kill me. Yay. How you doing, darling? You good? Okay. Before I say this, let me tell you, I would have gone ape crap at all this, okay? Ape crap, let me tell you. So I heard my mom say, looks like you can afford to skip a meal, and slapped my wife's stomach right as soon as I get ready to step in, literally fast walking towards them, yelling enough. My wife winds back and punches my mother square in the face and drops her. Hello, honey. Good for you. Sorry. Not sorry. The whole house went silent. Outside of my mom's crying and holding her face, I tell everyone to get the fork out. Immediately, everyone leaves, and my wife just turns toward the counter and leans with her hands on the counter and face down, eyes closed. I look at my wife and say, you too, leave now. Oh my God. She says, really? And she's crying at this point. I say a clip, yep. She packs up her and the baby and leaves. I want to speak, but I don't know whether I want to say this or not. So here is where this stops being awkward family dinner, right? And turns into a true what the fork crime scene. He cooks. His wife steps away to feed a newborn. And in that tiny window, the mother-in-law decides the priority is a hungry niece. Okay. Not the breastfeeding mom who just birthed the baby 2 months ago. You know, the writer literally watches his wife's food get put in the fridge, or the mother-in-law. Okay. And then learns his mother served it to someone else, and top that off by body shaming his wife with looks like you can afford to skip a meal while slapping her stomach. That's not a comment. That's provocation. The second He rushes in to shut it down. His wife swings once and drops his mom, okay? That would be me, because I'm going, go hard or go home here, all right? And instead of protecting his wife in that moment, he clears the house, including her, with the baby. Dinner is over. Boundaries are gone. And the fuse is officially lit, y'all. Got you a stanger going on there. No, no, no. Deliberate, disrespect, physical escalation, and zero adult regulation. Oh, okay. Let's move on. So I text her that night and say, I just need space. I need to decompress and come to terms with what just happened. I mean, yeah, I can understand that, but come on. So she doesn't respond. The next 5 days, I'm texting and calling, and I get nothing. Good for you, sister. She shows up here today, so 8 days later, and hands me divorce paperwork and my baby, and says, here, you have a bit to hang out with her while I pack. Where I'm breastfeeding, we can work out a visitation schedule that is either at your place or my mother's until she will take a bottle. I told her that's not what I want. I don't want to separate. I just needed time to process her punching my mother in the face. She said, you needing time to process gave me time to process the fact that I refused to be in this situation any longer. I defended myself. I initially felt bad and remorseful, but you making me leave when I needed you made me see more clear. I'm done. I'm sorry for what I did, but there's no fixing this. She refused to speak to him at all the rest of the time that she was there. My house feels so empty and I don't know what to do. Am I the a-hole for making her leave after she punched my mom? I just need some forking space. Oh, ha! Yes, I do believe we have a winner. Look at this. And you're right. I agree. I'll say it. The mom is being inappropriate, and the guy should not throw the wife out and kid out. Part of marriage is to protect your spouse and kids. Amen. Yes, he is the a-hole, is he not? Oh my gosh, you're so right with that, Sage. So right with that. All right, so the aftermath, right, is where this story goes from bad to catastrophic. He texts his wife that night saying he just needs space to decompress after watching his mother get punched in the face. Y'all, I get that. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you a situation I've been in. Okay. My mother and I, we had some dynamics. We had some people come into our lives, right? Everybody does that. We are a little bit less than desirable, correct? Okay. Listen. One day, my mother calls me and says, so-and-so is in my face and won't stop. And I think they're on drugs or blah, 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 something, all to that effect. So me being only 10 minutes away, I jump my happy little ass in the car and I come over here. And as I walk in the door, this little chick is standing, and I'm not exaggerating. She is nose to nose with my mother in her own home. My mother and I were fighting at the time, but I don't care who you are. You don't go in somebody's home, live under their roof, and get in their face. Let me tell you the end result for that one. And I'm not bragging, okay, because adrenaline definitely took over. I'll say that. The end result was her jaw was wired shut. Because, yeah, I did. I pushed her back. She came after me and I punched. I told her to get out of my mother's face. She didn't listen. So I pushed her back and she came in. And she got the bad end of that fight. It took once. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, you're right. He should have gone fishing. There you go. See, I want to go fishing. I want to go fishing so bad. Okay. See, that's so funny. That's so funny, Sage. Look, I got to show you my shirt. Yeah. That's not a coincidence. That's a sign, right? Officially retired, even though I'm not really retired. I'm just doing this. See? I knew you'd love that one, huh? Yep, you got it, buddy. That is definitely a sign. Okay, so she goes completely silent, no calls, no texts, nothing for 5 days. Then 8 days later, she shows up at his door, right, with the divorce papers in one hand and their newborn in the other, basically saying, here's the baby. Figure out visitation while I pack. He tells her he never wanted a separation. Of course he didn't. It's not convenient for him. Sorry. And her response, okay, it's a little brutal. She says his need for space gave her clarity that she refuses to stay in this family dynamic. I can't blame her, though. She admits she feels sorry for punching his mom. Okay, she has remorse. Do you, dude? Seriously. But she's done anyway. She leaves. Won't speak to him. And now he's sitting alone in an empty house asking Reddit, was I the asshole for telling her to leave when she hit my mom? Y'all. I ain't never going to get out of stingers today, am I? I'm going to have to stop letting somebody else pick this for me. Okay, so total relational collapse, obviously, consequences, and shattered trust. Lots of shattered trust, if you ask me. Hello again, Odin. Everything's a conspiracy theory, including what merging on the freeway means and if the placenta is for the baby or Trump's hair conditioner. There is absolutely nothing to support the theory that Americans care about women or children. You know what? You might be right. This country is a disgrace to God and mankind. You know, I think there's somebody out there that would say the same thing for every country. I appreciate you, sir, but we're not political in here, okay? Good to see you, though. Thanks for returning so many times. I appreciate you, Odin. The only thing depressing about knowing the future and how the world ends is that absolutely nobody cares. So, Odin, you're telling me you know the future. Really? Am I ever going to go viral on this platform? Because that would be a great thing to know, because I'd rather just quit here if I'm not going to. So if you can tell the future for real, I'm not playing. Look, y'all, check it out. The only thing depressing about knowing the future and how the world ends is that absolutely nobody cares. Well, if I knew that, then I would probably be living my life accordingly. And by that, I mean probably draining my life savings to go to Dolly World again or something. I don't know. Okay. So we have more. We're not done. Not done at all. Although real sure where I'm at now. I think it's this one. So they have some edited to add. That's what the ETA stands for. For the record, and this is from the original poster, the gentleman, the husband, not so much a gentleman. So for the record, I am team wife. No, you're not. You should have been, but you weren't. I think all this digital generation has lost many morals and good truths that are no longer taught like our generations. Amen. I mean, I love how Gen Z likes to talk about Gen X like we were the ones that didn't care. I'm sorry. Hello. Aren't you on the internet that was pretty much invented and perfected for all of us by Gen X? You wouldn't have YouTube without Gen X. Let me just put that out there. Plain and simple. I think that's fair to say. Because I guarantee you it was Gen X that was behind that computer all damn day long, not saying a word, not doing anything crazy. Okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. Gen X. So my mom okay. I am team wife. My mom deserved it wholeheartedly, and I blocked her. Okay. And completely from my life. I literally just needed time to process what happened. My wife is a lot of things. Violent is not one of them. So this came completely out of left field, and would not have happened without her being provoked. After it all happened, my mom sent me a text saying, "See, I told you she was crazy. That fat bitch doesn't belong in our life." I'm willing to bet she purposefully tried setting my wife off. So no, I'm on my wife's side 100%. Good for you. You dang well better be. You know it, Sage. You know it. Look, I'm even going to put that sucker up there. That's what we're talking about right there. You wouldn't have internet. You wouldn't be seeing my cute little face right now if it wasn't for my generation. Duh. All right. Sorry. I'm going to go off on shit like that. Pardon me. I try not to cuss here, but I do, don't I? So I'm on my wife's side 100%. I truly just needed to process what happened. And my wife took it as me giving up on her. I would have too. Not defending her and throwing her and our baby out, which did essentially happen because I knew she had to take the baby with her when I kicked her out. Yet you still kicked her out, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is the part, I guess, for me that just flips the whole dang story. He is not straddling the fence here. Not by any means. He flat out says, I am team wife. He admits his mother absolutely crossed the line. That the slap and the body shaming were intentional, and that his wife is not a violent person unless she is pushed to the breaking point. I think that's true for a lot of us, especially women, you know? Hi. Hey, Plus sister. How you doing? You okay? Hadn't seen you. Oh, that's not Plus sister. Pardon me. Hello, Dennis. Good to see you're back. I'm so sorry. My glasses, I just got new glasses and I'm having a hard time seeing. I thought it said Denise for a minute. Never mind. Okay. So then the mom texts after his wife. Oh, crazy and a fat bitch. Who doesn't belong in their life? Which tells me it was never just about one meal. This was about control. So now the real tension is this. He supports his wife, knows his mom provoked her, and still kicked her out in the heat of the moment. Okay. I know he didn't, and this is for me, but I know he didn't mean to abandon her. But in practice, that is exactly what it looked like to her. I mean, absolutely what it looked like to her. So I can't do anything other than a stinger on this one. Deliberate provocation. Mom, go away. Emotional betrayal. Son, get your shit straight. Right? I'm not going to apologize. I don't use very many cuss words in here, okay? But I get a little heated myself, right? Okay. So the reason why he's saying, oh, pardon me, went too far. Another edit. He says, the reason why my dad was stupid abusive. That's not an excuse. I was beat. My sisters and brothers were beat. My mom was put in the hospital multiple times. Okay. Sorry, I was getting funky messages. It took years for police to enforce restraining orders, and he finally died in 2013. Well, I'm happy you don't have that burden no more. I don't wish death on anybody, but at least, anyway, violence scares the fork out of me. I clam up and get anxious around violence of any kind now. Okay, I can understand that. So my wife knows this, and she too grew up with a violent stepdad, and she gets just as anxious and panicky around violence. I hope you're making a good point for your wife on this one. So her punching my mom in the face triggered an anxious response, and I needed her gone in that moment. Okay, there it is. It's still not an excuse as far as I'm concerned. But maybe you should have gotten up off your butt and went over there after she left, like the hour after she left, and said that. And maybe it wouldn't have been escalated to this point, but the abandonment to me is real because you didn't get off your duff and go over there and handle it immediately. So I needed it far away from me. I don't know why I didn't just leave. I could have, but in that moment, I just let my emotions and fear run the whole forking circus and told everyone to get out, her included. My mom did slap her first. I guess for some reason, I was seeing my wife's punch as being worse than the slap. It wasn't a hard slap, but my wife and it did kind of wince. Looking back at it now, she was fine following, but my mom was bleeding. Okay, I get that dynamic. So she split her eyebrow open in good shape. I don't know. Thanks for the responses. I'm the a-hole. I'm going to try and to go kiss ass now. Well, I mean, you should. Yeah, you should. You really should. Oh, so now we finally get the why behind this reaction. And it makes the whole story hit differently, right? A little bit. He explains that he grew up in a violently abusive home, beaten for years, his siblings beaten, his mom hospitalized multiple times until restraining orders finally stuck and his father passed away in 2013. Because of that history, yeah, any violence makes him freeze, shut down, and panic. Been there, done that myself. And let me tell you something. When an abuser passes away, okay, first and foremost, sure, there is some relief, but there's also guilt for feeling the relief. And that hits suddenly and harshly, and it hurts. And yes, I'm speaking from experience here because there was an abuser from my mother's past a long, long time ago. I'm not going to get into the story. It was bad. It was very bad. I was 8 years old. But here's the thing. He passed away, and I cried. Not because he had passed away, but because of the weight that had lifted off of me. And not 2 seconds after, the weight that resettled and was completely different and imbalanced. Because on one hand, I was glad that I would never, ever have to see his face again. And on the other, I was really upset with myself for feeling relief. That's hard. That's harsh. It really is. Okay, so his wife has a similar trauma background, right? Her stepdad, with him being violent. So she also spirals around conflict. When she punched his mom, it triggered his nervous system, okay? Not his logic. And in that moment, he just wanted the danger far away, even though the danger was his mother. He admits he could have left himself. But fear ran the show today, okay? He looks back and realizes the slap came first. His wife winced, and his mom ended up bleeding. That's imbalance messed with his head, okay? It totally messed with his head. And can you blame him for having that mess with his head? It would mess with mine. In fact, it's still messing with mine. Yeah. So, okay, we're going to get into a few relevant comments to this one. All right. So, the husband says this. Yeah. Nope. Next one. There it is. Now, my mom did hurt her. This is from the husband. She slapped her in the stomach, and my wife winced back in pain before punching her in the face. As a few other people have pointed out, thank you very much, other people, I guess new moms have muscles separated in their abdomen. So given the force that my mom slapped her in the stomach, like a little below the rib cage, full backhanded slap, which could be heard from the door. I guess it's comparable to hitting my wife in her internal organs. Yeah. Yes. Exactly is what it was. Because I'm sorry. Really? Dude. He says, I just learned that. Why did you just learn this? What makes you think you didn't learn this? Maybe you've already heard it, like maybe in the Lamaze classes, because that's something they tell you there. Okay? So somebody else commented, I'm sorry, you're saying it wasn't a hard slap, but you could hear it. Unless it was skin on skin, slaps are not usually something that can be heard at a distance. You're right, honey. Oh, you're right. Wow. So in the comments, the writer adds a critical detail that changes the physics of this whole scene. He clarifies that his mom didn't tap his wife. He delivered a full backhanded slap to the upper abdomen. Pardon me, just below the ribcage, hard enough that it could be heard from another room. He also learned something he didn't know in the moment. New moms often have separated abdominal muscles after childbirth, which means a blow there can feel like being hit in your internal organs, not just your skin. Another commenter jumps in and basically says, hold up, if you could hear that slap from across the house, it was not gentle. Pointing out that audible slaps are almost always real force, not a light swipe. Okay? Nope. You get a stinger, buddy. You get a stinger. You should have known that. Let's see. Sage says there is a difference between a spanking when really needed discipline, just angry, unnecessary, abusive, and violence is always bad. When emotions overtake those who are supposed to be responsible. You're right. Absolutely. That is so true. I mean, come on, y'all. All right, so we had another comment here. Let's see. Yep, you're the a-hole. Your mom wants to be your wife, or at least more importantly than her, or more important than her. You really did need to prioritize your wife over your mother. End of story. I hope you get another shot at it. Kind of depends on the past. If she has enough positive memories to make it worthwhile in her mind. Yeah. I got to find where my stuff is. Sorry, y'all. Yep. 10. There it is. Okay. So, yeah. So he says that the husband says, sorry, I'm getting distracted again. ADHD, y'all. So he says, starting to see that. My wife sent me a text about 10 minutes ago saying, look up emotional incest with no context. Wow. What a phrase. Emotional incest. Okay, with no context. Definitely describes what my mom's doing. I did completely block her, but it won't help my case. So one commenter cuts straight through, right? A lot in politeness and says, yep, you're the asshole. Their point isn't about the punch. It's about loyalty. Your mom is acting like she wants to be your wife, or at least more important than your actual wife. And you failed to prioritize your marriage when it counted. You're tough luck, dude. So the husband admits he's starting to see that. Just starting. And then drops the bomb. Okay. His wife texts him, look up emotional incest. No explanation. Not just that phrase. He realizes it fits his mom's behavior, blocks her completely, but also knows that blocking alone doesn't undo what happened or make things right with his wife. Guess what? It's another stinger. Emotional boundaries. Seriously. Plus loyalty failure? Look, info. So I guess we have another one. I'm lost in this one because I'm just ready to jump through the screen at this dude because he is so stupid. I mean, come on. All right, so what are we doing here? Pardon me. Info. There's another comment. Sorry, other comments. What other comments did your mother make about your wife? Is the question. So the husband says that she's stealing me away, that she wasn't good enough, made a few comments about baby trapping me, never said it directly to me or my wife, but it got back to us quick. She tried denying it at first, but later confirmed she said it. That's when I threatened no contact and nothing ever got back to us after that. I just assumed all had cleared up. All right. What do we say about assumptions? Makes an ass out of you and me. That's AITA in a nutshell. So in the last bit of context, okay, Palmer says the obvious question, right? And the answer is ugly. She's told people that the wife was stealing her son, that she wasn't good enough for him. Are you kidding me? And even floated the idea that the baby was a trap. None of it was said directly to their faces at first. It traveled through the family grapevine. But when confronted, the mom eventually admitted she'd said it. Not only is she crazy, but she's stupid too, really? Yes, I'm judging here. That's when the husband threatened no contact? Just then? So the comments stopped and he assumed everything was settled. Even though the resentment clearly never went away. What y'all think that is, huh? What y'all think that is? Yeah. You know it. You know it. Pattern of hostility. Not a one-time incident, right? All right, y'all. I'm going to go take my blood pressure medicine because I'm going to need it for the second half. We are about to have a little teeny tiny break and I shall see you shortly.
She came from the quiet storms, built a fire from the ground, turned a whisper to a warning. Now her voice shakes the town. Every setback was a lesson, every doubt became a key, unlocking something bigger. That's the rise of Boss B. When the lights go low, her vision hits high. She built a whole damn network off a promise and a try. Every sunrise, every moment, she's stacking legacy. This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV. A Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback, the storm in the stream, crafting stories out of heartbeats, making visions out of dreams. Got thunder in the hustle, got a voice that cuts clean. Every mic she touches turns the power unseen. So let brothers spin the numbers, let the views rise slow or fast. Boss B doesn't measure wins by echoes of the past. This moment is a pivot, this season's history. Bow down to the founder of the BBTV dynasty. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's got fire in the head, it's got truth in the frame, got a heart that won't retire and a gift you can't name. Every loop, every letter, every dream she sets free, it's a love note to the world sign. Boss B. And the world keeps watching as the numbers climb, but she's counting all the moments, not the dollar signs. From the late night grind to the daylight scene, she's building something bigger than the algorithm's dream. Boss B rising, BBTV shining, her story's rewriting, a legacy in real time. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dreams, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. watch her take her place. This is BBTV. This is her grace.
Join Boss B for Ask a Bee Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Standard Time and Jukebox Journey every Saturday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Wow, I had to run back for that one. Sorry, y'all. Okay. We're going to get back into this. As soon as I can find what I'm doing here. Oh, hello, Patty friend. Hello, Patty friend. I got my Patty friend and my Sage pup. Y'all, I'm good today. I am good today. All right. So, here's the next half of this. And I know I'm running real far into this one, but I got a lot of opinions on this one too. So, we're just going to keep going. Okay. So, first off, let's get rid of the stinger because we're done with him. So, yeah, the pregnant wife, she found it, the Reddit post. Eek. Hold on. Okay. That was not the right one. Yes, there it is. Okay, so here's the pregnant wife. She decided to weigh in on it, which absolutely is okay by me because what do I say? There's three sides. Look, three sides to every story. And that's yours, mine, and the truth. Okay? So I'm still grieving at the loss of my marriage, but my friend had notified me about my husband's post that had to many, I guess that's supposed to be many specific details that were hard to ignore. To clarify, this is my first time on Reddit. That's not good. I read my soon-to-be ex-husband's post and wanted to give my side of the story. Yes, ma'am, please do. And include details that he didn't provide in the post. Ruh-roh. So now the story is taking a really wild turn from internet drama to real-life collision. The wife actually finds his Reddit post, even though she's not a Reddit person, because a friend flags it for her. That happens. She opens by saying she's still grieving the end of her marriage. You know what that means. It tells you right away this isn't entertainment to her. It's raw. She makes it clear that this is her first time on Reddit, not her arena, and that she's stepping in only because her husband's post too many identifiable details to ignore. In other words, she's not here for clout. She's here to correct the record and tell the parts of the story that he definitely left out. You know what? That's a stinger because real world consequences, not just internet tea. For those who hadn't read it, long story short. Oh, pardon me. For those who hadn't read it, long story short, my husband kicked me out of the house after his mother had physically slapped my stomach in front of him and punched her in self-defense. I love my husband dearly, but his lack of action regarding his mother's behavior was extremely disgusting, to say the least. Okay, I agree. Hi, back. I'm front. Sorry. Couldn't help myself. You walked into it. Love you, man. So I tolerated his mom's behavior long enough until I couldn't take it anymore. And he had overlooked his mom's behavior over and over again. That finally I had enough. You can say this. I'm going to say this. So the wife comes in hot but precise. She frames it plainly. She was slapped in the stomach by her mother-in-law in front of her husband, and she punched in self-defense. So would I. I mean, yeah, so would I. Then she shifts the focus away from the punch and onto the pattern. She says she loved her husband deeply, but his repeated refusal to deal with his mom's behavior was extremely disgusting. I agree, honey. Ooh, I agree. Her point isn't that she wanted to fight, it's that she felt abandoned and worn down and forced to protect herself after years of being ignored while the abuse piled up. Another stinger. Betrayal over violence. Come on. Get with the program. So, nope. Next one. I got to do this one better. I was still recovering after giving birth to his child when his mom slapped my stomach, and my husband exaggerated when he said it wasn't a hard slap. The slap itself was hard enough to be heard by everyone in the room. I had lost it at this point when his mother slapped my stomach with a turd-eating smirk. That wasn't visible from my husband's point of view. At least that's what my husband claimed. Okay. So the wife doubles down on what actually happened to her body. She reminds us she was still physically recovering from childbirth. 2 months. You have a year to recover after childbirth. Let me just put that out there. And then her mother-in-law slaps her stomach, and she says flat out that her husband minimized it. That slap was hard enough for everyone to hear. You don't minimize anything like that, especially somebody who just went through the most excruciating pain that a woman will ever feel in their entire life. So then she adds a detail that changes the emotional temperature of the whole scene. She saw a smug, turd-eating smirk on her mother-in-law's face. That, her husband claims he didn't see that. Okay. In other words, from her point of view, this wasn't an accident or slip. It was calculated, humiliating move meant to provoke her right in front of her family. No. No. Okay. Provocation with intent, not just a slap. I had a mental breakdown when my husband told me, pardon me, sorry, here we go again. I had a mental breakdown when my husband told me to leave after kicking everyone out of the house. You should have seen his face when he told me to get out with a straight face and without hesitation. Our baby was crying at this point before I left, and I couldn't do anything but cry myself. Okay, cry that night after I went to stay with my mother. His mother sent me a text mockingly saying, "I am going to file charges against you for assault, you fat little hors d'oeuvre. Now, stay the fork out of our lives." She ended the text with a smiley face at the end. I was livid and decided I did not want to be associated with this family anymore and served my husband divorce papers. Good for you, baby girl. Oh my God. Is this live on Reddit or something? This is like real life General Hospital days. This is Reddit. This is Reddit. AITA stories from Reddit. And for What the Fork Wednesday, this one's perfect, right? Right? And it's going to be a doozy. Okay, so served my husband divorce papers, and as you can guess, he didn't take it well and tried to get me to reconsider. Wow, are you freaking kidding me right now? Oh, I know, right? I know. This part I like about this. This is why I like the AITA, because it fits my form quite well. All right, so the wife describes the emotional whiplash that followed. We are forgetting this, people. Come on. He is forgetting this. She says when her husband told her flat-faced and without hesitation to get out, she had a full mental breakdown. I would have too. Oh my God. Especially with the newborn crying in the background. She went to her mother's that night and just cried some more, sobbed. Then the mother-in-law escalated things even further by texting her a threat to press assault charges and hurling vicious insults at her, complete with a mocking smiley face. Okay. At that point, the wife says she realized this wasn't just a bad moment. It was a toxic family she no longer wanted to be tied to. Amen, sis. Amen, baby girl. Get out of that mess right now. So she served divorce papers. Good for you, honey. Even though her husband immediately tried to backtrack and get her to reconsider. Do you get my point here? Retaliation, intimidation, and the point of no return here. No return from this. Wow. I just don't get this. I just want to get. Y'all ever seen that movie Lucy? Scarlett Johansson, I believe. And it's called Lucy. Okay, Lucy. She becomes this computer. Never mind. Let's just keep going because I'm going to go nuts, y'all. Oh my God. For real. Y'all, for real. This is not cool. Oh, why are we not working right? Okay, there we go. So she goes on to say, I'm probably off again. I told him that he overlooked his mother's behavior one too many times, and I was done with him and his inability to establish boundaries with his mother. I recommended setting boundaries, but he didn't think it was necessary. Even after I told him throughout the pregnancy about the nasty names his mother called me when he wasn't around, and he always brushed it off, even though he did tell his mom to stop. She would continue this behavior after a short pause for a while. Of course she would. Of course she would. Of course she would. Oh, what is wrong with the people these days? So here the wife makes her line very clear. This isn't just a one-time incident, obviously. She tells him straight up that this wasn't about one slap. It was about a pattern that he kept ignoring. You know, throughout her pregnancy, she had been begging him to set boundaries, real boundaries, while his mom called her nasty names behind his back. And even when he did tell his mom to stop, it only worked for a short pause before the behavior came back. From her perspective, I think she didn't leave because of one fight. She left because she finally realized she would always be second to his mother and that he was unwilling to truly protect her or her child. For real? So we got some broken boundaries here, not a broken moment. or a lack thereof. Honey, I hope you got out and stayed out, because this is just, that'd be self-massacre to stay in that mess. Before I left, after handing him divorce papers, he begged me for another chance, and I told him he cut contact with his mother permanently. I told him that. He is sorry now that I handed him divorce papers, and that he was too late to act now that I decided I wanted out of the marriage. I told him I loved him so much that he should look at it as a sign if I didn't, that I, pardon me, then I would have divorced him long ago, because he didn't stand up for me multiple times. And I let his mother's snarky comments and behavior slide at my mental expense. Honey, you can't get any clearer than that, can you? You can't. So the last beat from the wife is both tender and brutal. She says that when she handed him divorce papers, he suddenly begged for another chance and claimed he had finally cut his mother off for good. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Why didn't this happen the first time? Why didn't this stop then? Because, dear son, you allowed this for your mother. You not doing something about it was giving her permission. Do you not see that? And if you didn't, why not? Because you can't play the blind fool all the time. She tells him plainly, that he's not sorry, because you saw it over and over again. And you're not sorry that she walked out. You're sorry that she won't come back, and that's selfish. She explains that the only reason she stayed as long as she did was because she loved him so much. If she didn't, she would have divorced him a long time ago, after the first round of his mother's abuse. In her mind, this wasn't an impulsive exit. It was the end of a long road where she kept sacrificing her mental health while he kept minimizing it. I mean, why? Love delayed boundaries. Enforce too late. Just enforce too late. So I told him he needed help with the trauma, because I understand that he is dealing with trauma, since he already mentioned my abusive stepdad. But he didn't even realize that his mother hadn't gotten him help for his trauma that he still is being affected by in his adulthood. What I can't understand is why he didn't leave if he needed some space, instead of being such a heartless bastard and kicking our child out with me. I've been ignoring his texts and calls ever since, and I'm waiting for a divorce hearing. Can I just tell you, honey, I'm waiting with you. So this wife, she zooms out from the fight and points to the trauma underneath it, okay? She tells him she understands that his childhood abuse still lives in his body, but she's angry that his mother never got him real help for it, and that he's still reacting from that place as an adult. What sticks with her most is the choice, okay? If he truly needed space, why didn't he leave the house instead of sending her and her newborn out the door? To her, that decision felt cold and punitive, right? Not protective. And since that night, she's been ignoring his calls and texts, and now is waiting for a divorce hearing, which shows how serious she is about stepping away. Y'all, this is trauma without treatment, plus consequences of choices here, right? Absolutely. Exactly, right? Yep. Something that I wanted, I'm sorry, hold up. Okay. 1920. Something that, wait, nope. Really? Yeah. Okay. Something that I wanted to point out is that his mother had attributed to his niece's weight gain, right? Since she lives with my husband's sister to save money, I once again told my husband about his niece's weight gain, that it's concerning that she weighs 190 pounds at such a young age, which, you know what? I understand this. Sixth grade, I weighed 162 pounds. My mother was having her issues, and I was living with my grandmother. Okay. My grandmother was a baker, a cook. And I ate my grief because my mother wasn't there. My father wasn't there. So on the day this incident, okay, hold up. Something's off again. Yep. Okay, so hello. On the day of the incident, I was making Denise's second portion of food, and then my husband's mother came towards me. Oh, okay. And snatched the plate out of my hands and said, "I'll do it myself. Let me take care of it." And when I tried to take the plate back, his mother said, "I know what to forking do. You don't know how to properly feed someone as healthy as my grandchild." I was shocked that she thinks that her grandchild's weight was normal for her age. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Sorry, I didn't put that one up because I'm tired of messing with it. The family cat just posted on Reddit. He saw everything, but he's not going to tell. Oh my God. You need to be on stage with me right now, Sage. That's perfect. Oh my God. I love your sense of humor so much. So the wife adds another layer, okay, and that explains how charged that kitchen already was before the slap, right? She says her mother-in-law had been enabling her niece's weight gain. Oh my God. The girl now weighed about 190 pounds and lived with the sister. And the wife had already told her husband this worried her. He didn't say none of this, did he? So on the night of the dinner, she was literally plating the niece's second helping when her mother-in-law snatched the plate out of her hands and snapped, "I'll do it myself. You don't know how to feed someone as healthy as my grandchild." Wow, bitch. I'm not going to apologize for that. Wow, bitch. Wow. To the wife, that wasn't just rude. It showed how distorted, okay, the mother's view of healthy had become, and now little respect she had, how little respect she had for the wife in her own home, right? Control, contempt, and provocation. I couldn't take this harassment or abuse any longer, and my breaking point was reached when he kicked me and our child out of the house. Now, I need to do what's right for our child because she doesn't need to be in a toxic household where she has to witness the drama going on. My soon-to-be ex-husband wants us to do marriage counseling, to which I have refused to do so because I am done with him. I'm starting to feel slightly guilty with his begging and gaslighting. I just want to be done with him. I blocked him as recommended by my lawyer, but he keeps reaching out through his other family members and siblings. Dude, let it go. You already messed this one up. I mean, chalk it up and move on. This dude needs to pull up his big girl panties and move around. What should I do to make him go away until the divorce hearing? I'm glad you're not asking me that personally because I got some ideas. None of which you would like because, you got a baby, you don't want to be in jail. So, in this last beat from the wife, right? She makes her boundary unmistakable. She says the real breaking point wasn't just the slap. It was being kicked out of the house. I mean, sure, the slap hurt, but that had to hurt worse. Words hurt worse than fist. Sounds like mom needs to get out of the house way more often, like go have a few margaritas and dancing several nights a week. Yes, find yourself somebody and quit trying to take your son away from his wife. Oh my God. So, okay. So this child doesn't belong in a toxic, chaotic environment. I think we can all agree with that. And I agree with you, honey. Even though her husband is now begging for marriage counseling, I think she's refusing because in her mind, the damage is already done. And that's some major damage. She admits she's starting to feel a flicker of guilt because of his pleading and what she calls his gaslighting. But she's clear that she wants out. On her lawyer's advice, she has blocked him. But obviously they have history, family members, other relatives, And she ends by asking Reddit what she should do to make him stop contacting her before divorce hearing. Okay. Hard boundary, no repair path for now. Yeah. For now. My goodness. So I think, oh my gosh. That was fun. I think that's pretty much the end of the story. There was not any other updates. No other updates. Just chaos, I suppose, still. I hope that an update comes up because if it does, then I'm definitely going to have to do a part 2 of this one. I'd like to know how she's doing, how the baby's doing. I really would. I hate that she had to go through this, because that's harsh. That is really harsh. It's extremely harsh. What is wrong with this man? And I'm sorry, but the mom and that shit is... These people got me cussing. Okay? That is crazy to me. Just crazy to me. The way the mom is being. All 3 of my children have somebody in their lives, and I am happy for that. In fact, I've been the one to officiate 2 of the weddings, and I'm absolutely in love with that. But even if I didn't like my children's partners, I don't think that I could be that cruel. I don't know. Can y'all put it in the comments? Let me know. What do you think? There's not a whole lot of honey here. In fact, I don't think I hit the honey at all. I don't think I did. So, final thought. In fact, for the queen bee, we're just going to, final thought. Okay? This right here, this is for the mom and her baby. Plain and simple. This story isn't really about a punch or a slap. It's about what happens when boundaries arrive years too late. Violence is shocking, yes. But what broke this family wasn't one swing. It was a long, slow erosion of trust where no one protected the person who needed protecting the most. A mother who refused to let go of her son. A husband who froze in his trauma instead of choosing his wife. And a new mom who reached a breaking point after being humiliated in her own home. Wow. All of that collided in one horrible moment. That is a what the fork Wednesday moment, don't you think? And none of them could take any of that back. What sits with me is this, loyalty isn't just love, it's action. You don't get credit for caring if your behavior leaves your partner alone in the fire. Today, we saw how trauma can hijack people in real time. His fear, her rage, his mother's control, and how none of that excuses the choices that they made. The truth is messy. She was provoked. He was triggered. Her mother was abusive, or his mother was abusive, her stepdad, and all that, and still their decision created consequences that would ripple for years, especially for that baby. That's the core of What the Fork Wednesday. Not outrage, not sides. Okay, we're not taking sides, but sitting in the complexity long enough to see how human beings can be both hurt and harmful at the same time. So as we close this chapter on this one, I hope there's an update. I really do. Thank you for listening carefully, for staying with the tension, and for letting this conversation breathe instead of just rushing to judgment. Stories like this aren't neat, and that's exactly why they matter. They mirror the real world, where healing is slow, accountability is hard, and clarity often comes only after things fall apart. Now, before we go, I got to slide into my promos. Y'all know how I do, because I love my people. Plain and simple. So, Tuber Chat, I still need to fix this. I'm so sorry, Tuber Chat. I love you so much. But AI sucks. So, Tuber Chat moment, and then a quick VB moment, and where we spotlight creators doing the work, building in public. Going to give you all that great stuff. I'm going to finish off with that, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Truthful Tuesday, or Thursday, Truthful Thursday. And you know what? It's guaranteed to be some crazy stuff. I should slow down so I can speak correctly, don't you think? Okay, so love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Sage, I'm in it. I got that email. I will send you a message ASAP. I promise, sir. Okay? Love you, Patty friend. Hope you get caught up. Y'all need to let me know if you think I should change the time for this show. If I need to make it later in the day, let me know. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Before we roll on, I want to take a second to shout out Tuber Chat, because once again they showed up and held space the way real community does. This channel isn't about noise or numbers chasing, it's about consistency, respect, and actually supporting creators without strings attached. That matters more than people realize. If you're looking for a place that lifts voices instead of talking over them, Tuber Chat is that lane. I appreciate the time, the encouragement, and the steady presence more than I can properly wrap into words. So much love to the Tuber Chat crew for doing what you do and doing it the right way.
If you're enjoying this show, subscribing is the easiest way to support what's being built here on BBTV. You'll see the join button right next to subscribe. No pressure, no expectations, just an option for people who want to support the channel in a real way. We're live weekdays at 12 p.m. Central, and each day has its own focus. Same honesty, same voice, just different conversations depending on the day. And if you've got a story you want to share, send it in. Anonymous is always fine.
Boss be right.